Church. Tell y'all gonna be one of the craziest messages I ever preached in. Amen. Because when we talk about witchcraft, all of us usually think about the old lady with the big old pot and the water on the nose and the pointed hat and all this stuff, always trying to conjure up some kind of elective or something to entice or to drill somebody to make them act a certain way. And that's usually what we think about witchcraft. We usually think about magic and all this good stuff that we watch on TV and the stuff we see in horror shows and the stuff we see with, what's her name, Sabrina, the teenage. We think about this kind of stuff. When we think about bewitched, when we start talking about witchcraft, we think about anything that is unusual. But what I want to deal with you today is witchcraft. This is the definition, a biblical definition. Is that witchcraft is the ungodly attempt to manipulate or intimidate another human being to get them to do what you want them to do.
All right. All right.
You got real quiet.
Come on now, Bishop.
One was the only one I heard. Witchcraft is something we do to try to influence somebody else's behavior.
Amen.
Witchcraft is something that we do to disobey a legitimate authority.
All right.
See, first of all, we got to understand that all of us got some authority. Y'all ain't talking to me now. Amen. You know, we got a legitimate authority is God's authority, or your authority of your parent, your teacher, your pastor, your husband. All these have some type of authority. We all have influence on somebody.
All right. All
Y'all
right.
don't believe that, do you? And maybe I better make it a little bit easier for you to understand. When my kids were little, I tell them to do something that I expected to be done. It wasn't no discussion. They did it.
Amen.
I said, my kids, I know yours tell you what to do, but my kids, I told them what to do. I was the authoritative figure in my house. And whatever I said went. I don't know what the men they saying, then y'all should have been standing up. I say that because, we want to be men at time when it's convenient. But when we get into this mess, we're going to find out that all the practice of witchcraft. Amen. Witchcraft is when we try to influence other people to do something against their will, but what we want done.
All right.
That's witchcraft.
Amen.
Amen. We find this in the church all the time. There are two things that we go deal with today concerning witchcraft. It is usually used to make somebody feel guilty or to make somebody feel fearful. If I can use intimidation to make you scared, then according to this definition, then I'm practicing witchcraft.
All right.
Let me use that example. Somebody turn, if you will, to 1 Samuel chapter 2. Y'all might not be used to this, but we're going anyway. Y'all know I don't take me long. I ain't got that much wind. 1 Samuel chapter 2. I think I'm familiar with the story. 1 Samuel, y'all there? Yes. Somebody read verses 22 to 29.
Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he said unto them, Why do ye such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people. Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. You make the Lord's people to transgress. If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. If a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearken not unto the voice of the father, because the Lord would slay them. And the child Samuel grew on and was in favor both with the Lord and also with men. And there came a man of God unto Eli, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Did I plainly appear unto the house of thy father when they were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house? And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon mine altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me? And did I give unto the house of thy father all the offerings made by fire of the children of Israel? Wherefore, kick ye at my sacrifice, and at mine offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honor thy sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel, my people.
Amen. I'm going to apologize right now because there's some people going to grab this the wrong way. But here's the story. Eli's son became the priest. Eli got old and can't do much. And now his offspring become the priest. Now where the witchcraft falls into this? Now according to verse 23, he said that I heard. Didn't he say he heard what the people were saying what you were doing? I heard about what y'all doing. But, he would tell this ain't good and all this stuff. Now, where the witchcraft come in, because the boys use fear. Now, I better break that down because somebody missed it. He was more afraid of his sons than he was of God. Yeah, we get ready to walk on some touchy ground. That's why I'm going to apologize first. Because, see, sometimes we feel like because they're family members, they can get away with a little bit more than some other people. But according to what we have studied and what God is showing us, it don't matter who you are. When God tells you to do something, that is what he wants you to do. And anybody that goes against what God said do, that's witchcraft.
Come on now.
That's what Eli did. He thought was honorable. He went and had a little talk with the boys and told them, what I heard wasn't, ain't good. But that wasn't the issue. No. What Eli should have done was set them boys down.
Yes. Amen.
Oh, ain't saying, nobody saying that now. See, sometimes when we get in trouble with God, it's because we hear some stuff. And I know people lying. I know people talk, but everybody ain't lying.
Come on, Bishop.
The Bible said, woe to the man that everybody speak well of. So I know everybody ain't like it's mighty funny when somebody walk up and say that apple is red, and you got one person trying to say it's yellow. That means everybody ain't wrong. Is that right about it? Sometimes the majority is right. And what Eli should have done in order to stay in good standing with God was to set them boys down. Because he didn't set them down. Look what God did. If you go to chapter 3 and look at verse 1, you find out that he began to start dealing with Samuel.
Yes,
Now, I said, what is this? I'm missing it here. What am I missing? God would let me know you can take your time about straightening out what I told you to straighten out, and all thing I'm going to do is get somebody else to do the job.
Come on now. Come on now.
Do y'all miss all that? Y'all miss all that. Sometimes in order to restore order and to restore a place where God will feel free to come in and do what he want to do, you have to set some people down that are close to your heart.
That's all right. Come on.
Y'all holler. Y'all got somebody else on your mind, but sometimes you better be careful because while you holler, it may be you. Let me get back here. I told y'all, in witchcraft, we all practicing. We all manipulate people and try to get people to do what we want to. Let me go back to a different scripture that don't seem to have nothing to do with witchcraft. Can we do that?
Amen.
Let's look at the New Testament. Let's go. Let me see if I can find it. John chapter 11. St. John chapter 11. This is going to be another familiar story, but it ain't going to come out the way I'm going to tell you. Are y'all grabbing this?
Amen.
I want you to hear it so when somebody else says something about, we practice witchcraft, I need you to know. Amen?
Amen.
Are you there?
Amen.
Verse 3 Sister Lillian, I know you got up a while ago to read. Read now.
John 11, chapter the 3rd verse. Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick.
Keep reading.
When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard therefore that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was.
Okay, now jump over to verse 21. 20 and 21.
Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him. But Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died.
Okay, stop right there. Now check this out. This is one thing. This is manipulation. Now what I mean by that, this is what Mary was doing, or Martha they were doing. You know, this had a story when they first sent word that told Jesus that Lazarus was sick. And they use a term that we don't think about, the one whom you love. As if because you love him now, that gives you some kind of credibility to move in a hurry. You know, how many of us, or how many of y'all, whichever the case may be, have told somebody, if you love me, you'll do this for me?
Come on, Bishop.
How many men have whispered in women's ears, you that baby, I love you, because you were wanting something you didn't need to have?
All right.
How many of you, some of y'all ain't saying that because you know you probably did it last night, but the thing is, we use love too loosely.
Come on, Bishop.
Am I right about it? And I believe it's in 1 John 4 where it says that love has no fear. You know, you can't use love to kind of trap somebody.
All right. That's right.
But many of us use love to trap people because they know that you love them enough that you'll do just about anything. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Why can't we love God like we love one another?
Come on now.
We love each other so much, Sister Phyllis. We'll walk across the desert, swim across. Some of us can't even swim. We'll swim across the ocean. We'll do crazy stuff for the one we love, but when it comes to God, we can't even do the simple stuff.
Come on, Bishop.
That's witchcraft.
Now.
Disobedient is witchcraft.
Yes, it is.
Disobeying is witchcraft.
Come on now.
Now check this out. Check this out. Even after Jesus came, after Lazarus was dead, listen what Martha said to him. Said, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Tried to make Jesus feel guilty because he wasn't there.
All right. That's right. Oh, glory.
Oh, that's just one I pulled out the Bible. There's a whole lot of stuff.
Yes, yes.
How many times do we use guilt? They're trying to make people do what, let me use some examples y'all might get understand. You know, you tell somebody, you know, well, look, I have a prior engagement. I'm not going to be at the program this evening. Well, you know what, I don't know why you ain't going to be there. You remember what was your problem? Why are you trying to make somebody feel bad? What happened when your day comes?
Come on now.
That's too real, that was a too real one there, and I should pull that back a little bit.
Hallelujah.
Come on now,
Do
Bishop.
you know that once you become into the knowledge of who you are in God, the Bible teaches us there's no condemnation. You are not to be condemned.
That's right.
Amen.
Trying to make somebody feel condemned is another form of witchcraft. Do you not know this? And I'm going to say this, and I know I'm stepping out off the tree limb, off in the air. But do you not know that God is the only one that has the real authority to be able to judge your heart?
All right.
Just because you don't look like I look and don't do it like I do it, that don't mean neither one of us is right or neither one of us is wrong.
Come on now, Bishop.
That just means I got my way of doing things, you got your way of doing things. There's certain things that you can't do in my house.
That's right.
Because I said it's my house. You get in your house, you do whatever you want to. That's your house.
Whatever.
And there's some things I bet not try in your house.
All right.
Is that right?
Amen.
Not only is that a level of respect, But then it's witchcraft again.
All right.
When I try to come in and make you do stuff. One of the things about my kids, I want my kids to walk the straight and narrow. I want them to experience all that God has. I want them to have. I want them to have it so bad. I wish I could cut the top of their head off and pour it down in there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But the thing is, now that they're grown, it is not my place to beat them up all the time and always preach a sermon.
Come on, come on, come on.
Oh, that went too real. If I get too real. Many of our young people have left the church because they can't go to church with their parents because their parents always tried to do God's job and tried to be the preacher. Sometimes you need to shut up and let God do his job.
Come on, Bishop.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because we spend too much time trying to do God's job. I better end this thing. I told y'all I wasn't too long-winded, but are you grabbing some of this?
Amen.
Amen. I really need you to grab this. I need you to grab this. Let's go back to our original scripture and see where the problem come in here. If you remember the first verses that were read to you, God had already told Saul to destroy Amalek. Who was it? Mm-hmm. It wasn't Amalek. Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. But he had told him not only to destroy him, but destroy all. Didn't that word all jump out at y'all? Yeah. Everything. He even started naming stuff. Kill the children, kill the wives or the women, kill everything. Don't take nothing. See, one thing we got to understand about God, when he give a specific instruction, that's what he wants you to follow. Because that's your blueprint right there. You don't need to veer any way, and you don't need to act like God didn't mean it that way or God didn't know what he was talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what we do. And we do. We said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not on thine own understanding, and all thy way acknowledge him, and he shall direct our path. But we acknowledge him in some things and wonder how we got on the wrong road. Don't we do that? Y'all ain't saying that now. Y'all know how it is. When we get real sick, then we want to call on it. But we ain't that sick, we're just a toothache, that's all right. God, he can take care of that too. Amen, amen, amen. I know y'all think I lost my mind, but I ain't lost it yet. Look at what he did. Instead of destroying everything, according to my study, he did save the king and some of the good stuff. The good stuff. What he thought was the good stuff. But God told him to destroy all. And what he did not realize, that he had disobeyed God by not destroying all. And so because he disobeyed God, that's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. And we do the same thing in church and now because we always know more than what God knows. And being a pastor, I know how it is when God tells you to do something that you don't even understand why. And everybody looking at you like you done lost your mind. But God said, obey. Obeying is better than sacrifice. But we don't want to obey God. And we're operating in witchcraft. We're operating in our home. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I listened to this show we went to yesterday. Y'all need to learn how to get out sometimes and experience some stuff.
Come on, Bishop.
But anyway, I listened to, it was pretty much women telling how some of them feel. Amen, and it was an uncomfortable place for men to be in sometimes, but it was some truth in some of them that were being said. Amen. And I understand that even in the house, the men don't understand that they're supposed to be the priests in the house. Is that right? If you the priest in the house, then when you get out the house, you still know how to be the priest. Let me say it another way. If you live in a godly life in the house, when you get out of the house, your wife will still respect you because she knows you're a godly man.
That's right. Amen.
Is that right? Yeah, am I saying it right yet? Amen. But in the house, it don't work like that. Because most of the time, the women tell the men what to do. I heard somebody talk about washing dishes. Where I hear that at? Was that last night? Talk about that that she had to wash the dishes, do all this stuff, and wherever I was, I might have been on television. It was last night, and talk about, I told that man to get in here and wash them dishes. Well, I wash dishes at my house, but not because I'm made to. What is that, Clodfelter? Well, I share the responsibility. I eat. Boy, I get real quiet at first. Some of y'all men, you know you bust them sons. Don't say that ass like the first time you heard it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. My fingernails get good and clean, amen, somebody. But when there are mutual respect, you share the responsibility. Ain't nothing wrong with a man washing dishes. You know what I did yesterday while my wife was working? I washed all the clothes. Took them out to dry and dirty hers up. Anyway, took them out to dry up, folded them, put them in the drawer, and laid the other work clothes and stuff on the bed. And you know what? I was amazed. I didn't fall dead.
Come on, Bishop. Come on, Bishop.
What's that wrong with that is? What's that wrong with that? Now, there are some things that we don't share. What you saying, Clodfelter? I wouldn't want to see my wife up under the car hood trying to work on the motor.
Come on, Bishop.
Or laying on the ground working on the transmission. Do y'all get the picture? Do you get the picture? I mean, I know this is a new age and we all liberated and stuff like that, and we don't need a man. That's a Jezebel spirit.
Come on, Bishop.
God has designed us to put us all in our respectful places.
Hallelujah.
Tell somebody, know your place. Amen. Y'all rest on your feet.